Alright ladies, so this whole week is going to be dedicated to a project that I do at the end of the year so far for all my years of teaching. And this video is just hopefully to walk you through the rubric and answer any questions you might have. Yeah, so these are your expectations, or my expectations, right? So this is right in your rubric, so you don't have to memorize it or nothing, but I'm going to read it anyways just in case you skim over it. After spending an entire year in this class, it is my hope that you can take some of what you have learned and apply it to your life outside the classroom. Our faith calls us to know, love, and serve God, and hopefully this class has taught you something on how we can do that in our daily lives. The goal of this project is to allow you to discover and express how you personally can know, love, and serve God. This project will be presented to the class and done with a partner. So from that, the keywords are for you to discover, express how you can personally. So I want you guys to really take the time. This isn't like a to-do list for your summer, but I want you to really think about how you can take what you've learned this year and use it outside the classroom. So in the past when I've done this, not gonna lie, the classes have been more specific to our actions, our faith in action. So it's been a little bit easier, but even so, a lot of what we've learned this year can still be applied to your lives, whether it be scripture or, coming to know Mary, like we just did a week or two ago. There's a lot of things that you can take. You just have to put some time into discovering it, and then once you do figure out what it might be, then you can share with the class how you can do that. Yeah, so, and it's worth 100 points. That's how seriously I want you guys to take it. I don't want you to mess around. I really want you to take the time and consider this. This is my favorite project that students have done for me, and I love seeing what they've learned and what they've liked and what they hope to learn, and what they can take and apply to their life. So I really want you guys to put some effort into this. So you guys will either get a print off of this or it'll be posted on class pages. I always like the print off, but some people don't. But I'm just going to kind of walk through some of these things, that way you're not asking a ton of questions. So because it is going to be a presentation and because you're going to talk to your substitute about how exactly you're going to share this with them, because I'm not super familiar with how you can share a document, but you will do it on Google Slides, or like it's called PowerPoint too. That way, when you get up to present, your teacher can access it like super easily. So, and that way too, all of your folders will be in one document that I can access and grade. Also, because I'm not going to be there to watch you present, I don't want you guys to have like a ton of words in your presentations, but I do want you to outline what you're going to say. And so your substitute can help you with that too, and you can have speaker notes with each slide and then copy and paste it, or you can just have an entire outline of your presentation. That way I know what was said with each slide, and I have an idea of what, like if you have like keywords on your slides instead of full paragraphs, which you should never have. I know I do sometimes. But I hope that makes sense. If not, feel free to email me. So again, talk to your substitute about how you can submit it. So things you're going to be graded on are proper grammar. It has to be organized and clear. It has to be in 4 to 6 minutes. I thought about this. It'll probably take you longer than 4 minutes. If it's any shorter, you are going to lose a ton of points. So keep that in mind. It should be closer to 6 to 7 minutes because of all the questions I ask. So it has to have at least 12 slides. You can have more if you want. So there has to be an introduction. The 10 questions have to be answered, and we'll go through those right now. And then a conclusion slide, and also pictures. I don't know why it says and include pictures. I think it's supposed to say and include pictures. Lastly, so your presentation has to be submitted before you present. And so it says email to a substitute because I don't know exactly the verbiage on how you can share it to a specific folder for your class. So talk to your sub about that. Also, your substitute is going to have a checklist on whether or not you're speaking confidently. And so I don't want a ton of laughing or mumbling, or some of you really struggle with saying yeah, and then yeah. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear about it, so I hope it doesn't happen. And then lastly, do not read the entire presentation. Some of you fall into that as well. So now I'm going to explain the sections. A lot of these questions are your personal opinion. They are not objective answers, which I kind of like because it gives you some freedom and I don't hear the same presentation 100 times over. So the first question, coming to know Jesus. What were 3 things from this class that you liked the most? So this entire year, it doesn't have to be specific to content because that's the next question. But what were 3 things you liked? Did you like your classmates? Did you like the girls you sat with? Did you like some of the themes of the month? Did you like, I don't know what else there was to like. Did you like that somebody brought in cupcakes one day? Or did pick 3 things that you liked about the class and share with them in this presentation. So the next one is the content. So what did you find most interesting this year? Did you like that we read scripture? Did you find it interesting that we learned about the saints? Did you like what we learned about Mary? Or talking about different sacraments, like a little bit here and there. So 1 to 2 things. I prefer 2, but if there was one you really, really liked, then that's fine. What are 2 to 3 things you hope to learn in theology class before you graduate? Some of you guys are going to take theology here and then probably never take another theology class in your life. So take the time and think about a couple of things you would really like to learn in your next couple years of theology. And then lastly, in or outside of the classroom, what do you think is the best way for someone your age to grow in their faith? So some of you guys might say praise and worship, going to Mass on Sundays, going to a youth group, a mission trip. There's not a wrong answer to any of these questions. These are all your opinion. These are all things you liked, things you hope to learn about, and things that you find helpful in growing in your faith. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to email me. So part 2. So we're called to know, love, and serve God. So part 1 is knowing God. Part 2 is loving God. So in what ways have you felt called to imitate Christ and his love? Where in life can you serve? So for this, think about you. Do not think about high school teens in general. Do not think about, Marian girls. Think about you as an individual. Think maybe I play soccer, or I play volleyball, or I have this family that are, that can use some Jesus, or I have this, that, or the other. Where can I serve? So this is not a general question for high school teens. This is where can you as an individual serve? So you and your partner would both answer these questions in your presentation. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And then how would you explain the Eucharist? So this, I'm pretty sure, is chapter 8, and we did not go over it, but your book does a very good job explaining it. So you'll have to go to your books and read this section in chapter 8 on the Eucharist and how it is a sign of God's love to answer this one, unless you can do it on your own, or if you prefer to use the internet, you can do that too. But this is a really important part of our faith, and we didn't talk about it much this year just because it's not really a part of our content until chapter 8. And so I still want you guys to read about it and learn about it, because it's going to be, for the next couple of years, a lot of what you learn. But ultimately, why is it so important for Catholics? And then what can it do for us? So I kind of use that in the little quotation things, because it's not like something we receive to get something out of it, but there's something we should be gaining out of it if we're open to it. And so I want you to be able to answer that and explain it to a non-Christian. And then what are 3 ways God has revealed his love for us? So this you can pick and choose. If you want to answer as an individual, like if I were to answer, I'd say God revealed his love to me through my daughter, who like is just perfect in every way, shape, and form. For you guys, it might be through my friend or my sister, or you can be more general and say, you know, through his dying on the cross for us is a pretty huge sign of God's love. And so that there's a little bit of freedom in that one. So pick which one you're comfortable with. And then this is the last section, part 3, sharing God's love with others. So how can you live out the Beatitudes in your daily life? This is another thing that we did not get to because it's in chapter 8, but I still want you guys to read about it and know it and learn it. And it's on starting with page 286 in your books. So read about it and go through that on your own. It's pretty straightforward. You've probably heard of them before. And then what are some of the gifts you have that can be shared to show God's love? So again, this is not something I want you to answer generally. This is an individual. You, as an individual, what gifts do you have that can be shared? So this is for you as an individual. I just said twice. Things to not do in your presentation. So this could look differently for each of you. Whatever gifts you have, if you're a really great public speaker, maybe that's what you showing God's love will look like. If you're a really great friend, maybe it'll be in a one-on-one conversation with a friend. Things of that nature. So think about you as an individual, though. And then lastly, this one's straightforward. Choose 2 scripture passages, verses that your book has covered about God's love, and teach the class on how they can use it to enrich their lives. So, in conclusion, do your best. I really love reading these. Well, I love listening to them, but this year I'm going to read it. And so, yeah, I expect great things. I want you all to get a perfect score. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Please use my Gmail because the other one doesn't always work. And so it takes me forever to respond to those sometimes because I just can't always access it. I don't know why, but sometimes it just doesn't work. So, yeah, looking forward to hearing from you guys. Have a great day.